Neckline of your collar, which is the one with all the rows on it, and you want to find the center back. We're going to pair that up with the center back of our coat, placing the right sides together, and I'm going to pin that just to hold that in place before I find the next spot. Then the next spot I'm going to walk along to my right, because I'm going to start at the center back sewing down here, and I'm going to put a pin through the gorge junction on the collar, and I'm aiming for the gorge junction on the coat. It's always lower than I think. Got it. And then I'm going to pin that in place. What you'll see quickly is that we've got these opposing angles. So I'm going to start at the center back, sewing along the neckline, matching my notch at the shoulder, and then I'm going to come into this point. What I'm going to need to do there is lift up the collar, clip the neckline so I can pivot around the neck. Then my aim is to match the collar point neckline to the notch over here. So I've marked my notch with some chalk, only really so you can see it in the demonstration. But I can't pin that there now because I haven't clipped, okay? Centimetre seam. Now I'm not backtracking there because quite often my centre back doesn't quite match up along the collar, so I might end up unpicking that in a second, but I'm going to make my way around the neckline anyway, and I'll come back to that. What I need to keep in mind is that I've done these beautiful parallel lines of stitching along the neckline. So I want to make sure that when I sew my collar in, that my seam allowance is as equally accurate, because otherwise those lines are going to look like they're not even. Now as you approach the shoulder, you'll see the shoulder, as you know, along the neckline is cut on an angle. So when you sew your collar onto that, it will seem like the notch of the collar is about, I don't know, 8 mil past the shoulder line at the net edge. You've just got to keep in mind that that notch is to meet the shoulder line on the sewing line. So it will be offset slightly forward for that to actually match. So don't ease that in along the back, because then you'll find it's short as you come down the front. I can either lift up and try and clip into here. What I like to do when I get to the gorge is backtack along my same row, take my pin out. I can easily access the corner, lifting up the undercollar and clipping to my backtack at the gorge junction. So I'm not clipping the collar, I'm just clipping the main fabric. and then I can stitch back up to that same point and then pivot collar at the neckline. I'm going to sew along here a few stitches just to get out of this danger zone, and then I'm going to find my notch which indicates where the collar should intersect. So I've got a little bit of ease to do there, but not a great deal. So that point there aligns to my notch, which is underneath here. Chances are this is stretched a little bit when we were moulding it, and it's cut on the bias. A few things cut on the bias, so it's quite normal for there to be a little bit of ease there. And I'm just going to stop on the stitching line where we've marked it, allowing us to use that seam allowance to bag out around the collar. Okay, that's half of it. Now I'm going to do the other half. I'm just going to turn that off. Now when I come to do the second half, I might stand up to demonstrate this. Have you stopped that video or you just